Hey, welcome to HelloSaxophone.com. My name is Florian Rose, and you are about to learn everything you need to know to teach yourself to play the saxophone. Only a few short years ago, I'd never played an instrument before. I'd always kind of wanted to, but for some reason it just didn't happen. And then, through kind of a lucky coincidence, a saxophone just dropped in my lap one day. And when that happened, I said to myself, let's do it. I've got the chance now, but if I'm gonna do this, I'm really gonna do it all the way. You know, I want to be able to play in bands, I want to be able to improvise, play any song I want. You know, I want to really do this right. So of course I wanted to get started right away, but I actually just moved abroad and there happened to be no teacher around in the place where I was living. But I made myself a promise. So I went to the local library there, found some music stores, went online, and I just tried, read, watched everything and anything I could find. You know, practicing hard, trying to teach myself to play the saxophone. But I quickly found out that most of the material was incredibly dry and dull and, you know, was throwing around a lot of these musician terms where half the time I had no idea what people were talking about. And then there were these sort of kid-style methods that were going very slowly, which didn't fit my learning style at all. I mean, I was an adult and this was going way too slow for me. So most of the materials that were of course obviously intended to help me actually did more to kind of confuse me and actually also demotivate me a little bit at times instead of making things easy and fun. Take finger charts for example. Almost in all methods they look kind of something, you know, like this. Kind of a weird representation that looks on the saxophone like this, as if you're looking at it from the front. But of course when you're playing the saxophone, you're actually holding it in a way that gets the keys to face away from you. But when you have to learn how to hold your hands from a drawing like that, that's drawn from the front, that means that in order to use it, well, first of all you have to kind of guess which key they mean. It looks nothing like what the saxophone actually really looks like. But also, you know, when you're using it, your left hand is on the upside and doing the, you know, the notes here in the high register, and your right hand is on the low side. But in this drawing, it's actually flipped, so you have to sort of mentally flip them, but you know, with every note that you're trying. And I found that with so many materials, you have to do all this kind of mental gymnastics, while at the same time you're not quite sure how to hold it. You're kind of still struggling with, you know, how to blow into it. So you're doing all these things at the same time, and it just became such a drag. And I found that, you know, almost in all the steps and, you know, with everything that you're learning, you just have to do so much extra work to actually make it happen, which to me felt just so unnecessary most of the time. So I keep struggling through, but I finally came to a point where I said enough is enough. If I really want to be able to learn all this stuff fast, I just have to take some time and redesign all these materials so I can use them easily. So I started with the finger charts and redesigned them in such a way that they eliminated all the, you know, mental gymnastics from the equation, and you could just use them very easily and intuitively. I posted some of those ideas online, and the next day I was swamped with reactions from other people that were apparently struggling with the same problems and told me, you know, please make more. So I started a blog called Hello Saxophone, and from that day on, every step I learned, every trick I learned, every little secret, I wrote it down, designed some materials to go with each step, and created what has now become the Easy Stardust Guide to the Saxophone, which is essentially, you know, a step-by-step guide that has all the practical information and tools that I'd wish I'd had when I started playing the saxophone, when I started learning. And I'm going to share everything I learned, everything I wrote down, everything I designed with you. From the simple things like assembling your saxophone and keeping it clean and healthy, to all the little secrets that you use to tune your mouthpiece exactly right, to learning your first songs, improvising, learning to play by ear, creating a big sexy sound on the saxophone, really everything you need to know. And you don't have to be able to read music already to use this method, or, you know, understand a lot of complicated musician words and musician's lingo. I'm going to explain all that stuff to you from the start along the way. Teaching yourself to play the saxophone is absolutely doable. It's easy and it's a whole lot of fun. I mean, by my second year, I was playing with various bands, I was sitting in at sessions regularly, and now only a few years later, I'm hosting one of the hippest jazz events in my city. And maybe also some funk. Maar voordat we... So, if I can do that, then you can definitely teach yourself to play the saxophone too. So, fill in your name and email address in the box below and come inside and let me teach you how to play the saxophone. I'll also send you an email with a 25-minute long video workshop called The 10 Bad Habits That Hold Back Most Beginning Saxophone Players. And you'll learn how you can very easily avoid those from the start. So, fill in your information, come inside, and let's take the first step to making you a saxophone player.